They like X, they want to do Y so that Z happens. Why do you need a form here? The IA is wrong out here. It's a very good idea to call them out. This looks like Facebook. Why do I need to see my name? Hey everyone, today I'm going to review a portfolio which is written by a budding designer, and the problem statement is something that a college student would face. At this point, I would like to call out that a portfolio cannot directly get you a job. It can at best get you an interview, and what you do in the interview ultimately decides if you would get the job or not. So that's exactly what I'm going to do today. I'm going to review the portfolio just like I would if a real portfolio had come to me, and at the end of it, I would also call out if I would call this person for an interview for a full-time design role or internship. Please note that all the opinions that I share in this review is mine, and it nowhere reflects the opinion of my present employer Swiggy or any other employer or company that I might work for in the future. Also, I will be judging and reviewing only the work that is shared with me over this case study and not the individual. So I'm not going to judge an individual, but only the work. So let's get right into business. So here I am on Design with Sapta community that I have set up on nas.io. If you're not a part of it, I will leave the link in the description. It's nas.io/Sapta. It's a free community. A lot of discussions happen out there. And one of the forums that I started is showcasing design portfolio and sharing feedback, where people have been posting the links of their portfolio. And today I'm going to review one of these links, which was one of the early ones which was posted. It's by Harsha Gowda. So he has a link out there, and I had asked him over the chat if I could review his portfolio on this video, and I have his consent and also to use his name. So let's get started. I will click on the link. It says an app for university students to increase campus engagement, a case study. All right, so I think it's called Assembly because it's put out there, and yeah, he's made a nice collage out there. Reminds me of the summary slide after all Apple events. Okay. All right, let's get started. Before we start, let me share a scenario with you, which led me to write this case study. I'm a part of the PR division for a team at my college where we organize competitions. Okay, recently we organized a workshop for front-end developers, where we used social media, digital posters to promote it. And we sent out the email to the entire college of around 10,000 students. However, only 130 students registered, right? That's less. Out of a potential 3,000 to 4,000 computer science students, and only 50% of the registered student actually attended. Well, in this regard, you said that the potential is 3,000 to 4,000 students because they are students from computer science department. Now that potential may or may not be true. You know, you'd probably hear a lot of founders who say that, hey, what's the size of the market of the product that you're building? And they'll quickly crunch some numbers in their head and immediately call out, hey, this is the size of my market, or this is the size of the number of people, or the audience, or whatever, right? And you might feel, wow, how could they do all those things? But the reality is a lot of people actually end up making mistake in this because it's not as simple as it seems. So even though it feels like there are 3,000 to 4,000 computer science students, your potential students could be way less or way more than this, right? Because it's about front-end development, and you cannot say that only computer science people would do it, or all the computer science people would be interested. So, you know, this is probably not the right representation of potential, but that's way more than UX design. So let me not drill out there, right? Okay, this got me puzzled as to why there were so few registrations and why the footfall reduced after registration. Since I decided to investigate the issue and find out a solution to increase the student engagement, I conducted a survey. Okay. Problem statement, an important part of the case study. In the context of college campus engagement, students face difficulty in staying updated with club events, staying updated and opportunities, resulting in missed participation and reduced campus involvement. So the core of the problem is staying updated with club events. There's lack of awareness. Lack of awareness is the problem, and limited visibility of available clubs and teams hinder students' ability to explore diverse interests and build meaningful connections. Okay, so I think it is clearly called out that the problem out here is lack of awareness of the stuff that is happening, including available clubs, is what I get. All right, so that's a good enough problem statement. Survey insights. He said that he has done a survey. The following survey insights shed light into the situation. Okay, I like the way the survey insights are put up, right? It's easier to consume for a viewer like me. Around 70% of the students either rarely attended campus events or participated. Okay, 75% of the people never did. Why they didn't did? This indicates a need of enhanced student participation and encourage more frequent engagement. Okay, encouragement is one of the things that Harsha wants to do out here. Approximately 82% of the students report missing events due to lack of information. 73% relied on online sources for event information. This underlines the significance of digital performance reaching. Okay, so if 73% of them relied on social and 80% missed, how does it work? So does it mean that the existing online sources aren't working? Why aren't they working? That's something that could be a secondary thing you might want to find out, right? 78% of the students who face this issue are from universities with large campuses. Okay, so large campuses, I understand a lot of things might be happening, so there are possibilities of some of the events missing out. But in this regard, since you said participation of any event itself is low, how much of a contribution are the large universities adding here? Because people tend to miss events in large universities because the number of such events are also large. But you also said that 75% of the students never participated. So is it really an awareness problem? You may want to find it out. But anyways, for the sake of this problem statement, I think awareness is one of the most important things that you are trying to solve. Okay. User interview insights. As a part of my research, I conducted user interviews with 4 students aged between 18 to 23, studying diverse courses in different colleges. I think this is what you reported, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, what is this? Okay, if I zoom in, I see that there is a subtext out here which says based on insights of 40 students. Why is it so faintly put out there? Well, I understand that that's probably not the most important part of the insights, but then if you have written it, make sure that it's at least readable. I wouldn't have seen it. It is very, very well missable, right? So this is an accessibility nightmare. So either you write it well, maybe reduce opacity if you don't want it to be the most prominent thing out there, but this is almost invisible. So, you cannot make accessibility problem in your case study. You are a designer, right? It doesn't give a right impression. All right, let's get ahead. Key insights from the user interview. I'll read out the problem statement. Students are unaware of events happening in college. Got it? Missing out on things. Number 2, clubs and teams are hard to find and join for students. Clubs and teams are also, they're not able to do it, and also the events, as it is said. Students failing to register for events despite receiving information. Okay, let me read the reason for this. Overwhelming number of irrelevant emails causing relevant event-related message to be ignored. Okay, I won't call it receiving information. Of course, information was sent to them, but they still didn't discover it, right? So it is very similar to the first use case itself, unaware of events happening. So I feel the 3 and 1 are kind of the same, where even though the email has come, they haven't seen it, right? So of course the email would be sent to everyone, so they're not aware of it. Number 4, students struggling to stay updated on registered events. Okay, students finding it difficult and frustrating to fill registration forms. Okay, all right. So these are some of the problems that you figured out. User journey of a student attending an event. I believe this is in today's world. Okay. Oh my God, this is a complicated diagram. I see a lot of things happening out there. It's a flow diagram, and I also see that Harsha has annotated a lot of these things, right? Okay, I will skip the annotations because I don't know what is happening out there. I'll try to scan through these things, okay? Also, I don't understand what are these percentages. 58, 66, 61, 60. It says channels through which each events get promoted. All right, I'll skip that part. If it's a part of your internal problem solving, it's okay. I will just try to scan through what it is, right? Flow on how students discover the events. Email, WhatsApp, social media, word of mouth, posters, digital screens, etc. And then why is the journey for each one of them different? Okay. If it's via email and WhatsApp, gets the information about the event and the link to register for the event, and that takes me to a form, a Google form or a type form. Okay, fair enough. But when it comes from social media, what happens is there is an intermediate step. I don't understand why. Gets the link through their bio, website, or direct register to the event. So there's an intermediate link only for these 3 cases. I don't know why. Why can't Why can't these things be skipped in the present form itself, right? Because, if I send something in social media and you've already told me about what the event is, why can't I click and directly fill this form? This step would be gone there, right? Anyways, let's come further. After it is done, students fill up the form. Students are ready to be added to the WhatsApp or Telegram group. Host will, is this one of the 4 things that happen? Possible. Host will send a WhatsApp link invite. Host adds hundreds of contacts using third-party software all at once. Well, these look like one after another thing that the host might do. Some hosts don't make any groups but send updates through mails. Gets update through WhatsApp groups, gets update through email for these people, and students attend the event successfully. Again, in this regard, I feel, I don't know, some of these things are probably introduced to show how complicated the mechanism is. But if you look at it, this one, as I feel, this step is probably redundant. I don't know why your people are doing only for a certain kind of marketing that is happening. And here, the first 3 points are just about creating a WhatsApp group. So some of them are creating WhatsApp, some of them are creating email, right? That's the only thing. So if I look at this, do you think it is still a problem of awareness, or is it a problem of discipline that things are scattered across many places, right? Even in this one, if things are just, you gather from email, social media, word of mouth and everything, and you narrow down in a funnel and do it in the right way, your present model probably also will start working, right? See, the reason I'm calling this out, because you said social media marketing is happening. For that, maybe people are following some Instagram page or some Facebook group or something like that. And in spite of them, people are missing. So if they're missing, what gives you the confidence that whatever product you have built, people will adopt that and not miss any information out there? It's a new one. People might open Instagram and Facebook multiple times during the day. But what is the probability that the new app or whatever you're making, people will open it? They don't really have a lot of motivation as an Instagram or a Facebook, right? So think about it. This could be a question that is asked to you in your interviews. The next part is user personas. All right. After interviewing and analyzing the insights and the needs from the user interview, I created 4 primary personas which cover most of the issues faced by students. Okay, let's see. Shivani, 20, currently pursuing degree in computer science. She wants an easy way to discover and join coordinating technology related. She's passionate about technology and wants to expand their knowledge network with like-minded individuals and find opportunities for professional growth. Nikhil Kamath, okay. He wants to enhance his business acumen, build connections with industry professionals, improve his chances of securing internship, okay. Clubs, reading and learn from each other, turn to designers, okay, establish connections, Pearson. Okay, I read through all the personas or the so-called personas, and if I just look at it, to me it feels like all 4 are the same persona. If you look at the problems that facing or what they want, all of them can be put up in a simple generic statement as like, they like X, they want to do Y, so that Z happens. X, Y, Z in all of them. And what is differentiating essentially are their fields of study. It could be like, hey, Shivani likes computer science. She wants to do something more with computer science so that she gets a job or whatever it is, right? So it's just the field of their study or the field of their interest is changing. This person is maybe into computer science, technology. The one person is into design, one person is into business, one person is into electrical engineering. So just their interest is different, but everyone has the same set of problem. I like this. I want to do this so that this happens, right? So to me, it feels like probably they are all the same persona, right? So just have a look at this. And also, in this regard, maybe the persona building was not really required because, you are a bunch of college students. So there could be multiple personas. These are not the ones, by the way, who are facing different problems, right? This is just a change in filter. It's not really a problem. So you might want to just reevaluate and see, are there better ways in which you can create the personas? Or if you don't want to, you can completely skip the persona part. I think that's okay. Competitive analysis. Okay, good. During my competitive analysis, I couldn't find any relevant app on Play Store that effectively solved this problem. Okay. Unfortunately, I couldn't ask those apps. Nevertheless, I understand the patterns used by other platforms like LinkedIn, Book My Show, Meetup. Okay, all right. About the app, name is Assembly. Assembly, it involves memories. Morning prayer in school. Wow. Oh yes, nostalgic. When students of all ages and classes gather as one, there we felt united. Okay, got it. So that's how you have given the name. The company designing a mobile app makes more sense as it's more suitable than a web app. Okay, fair, but for anything new, the challenge is adoption, because some of the things that you're saying, it feels like it could be probably solved by just consolidating anything existing. Maybe, use a Facebook group or use an email thread, or you use something else, right? But whenever you bring a new app, all the problems would remain. What if I don't use this app? What if I skip the notifications in the app? Because, it's definitely not going to be as desirable an app as an Instagram or a Facebook or something. All right. B2B2C approach. Okay. So the college will buy it and ask the students to use it. Okay. The students of the university age 18 to 25 only on the user flow. Fair. Assumptions, I can make design choices independently. All right. No major technical limitations. All right. Metrics to be measured. So this section, assumptions, is good, especially when you're working on something which is your pet project, where you do not know what could be some of the challenges. So you can, of course, simulate some of the challenges, but when you do not know, it's always good to make assumptions and call them out. You've called these things out, so it's a good section. So if you're working on your case study, which is your pet project, maybe some of the assumptions that you have made, it's a very good idea to call them out. So good stuff. Metrics to be measured: increase event participation rate, improve awareness and information, increase network and collaboration. Metrics to be measured. Okay. Yes. Had it been a real app, these metrics should be measured, but yours isn't really one, and I don't think you're going to build it, will you? So there's no way you'll be able to measure these metrics, right? So think about it. Okay, it's still good to have it, perhaps. Ideation with wireframes. Okay, this looks like a lot of internal work that you have done out there. I'll skip this part and directly go to the design, because, this is your internal process. Sure. And some of these are not even in the readable form. So I will just skip this part and directly go to design, because your designs should reflect all the problems and stuff that you have called out. Okay. Now it's time for the actual fun stuff, designing the interface. Okay. It requires creativity and problem solving to craft designs catering over diverse needs. Meanwhile, I got a little bit into copywriting and found this important. Okay, you have used ChatGPT to write copy. Interesting. Okay, you made a nice animation out there. Again, reminds me of the Apple summary slide for the Apple events. Okay, good stuff. Onboarding, the design was done considering that I'm designing an app for the students of 18 to 23 who have shorter attention spans. Shorter attention spans and lower patience. Got it. So sure, they have shorter attention spans and lower patience, but I would be curious to see what have you done to cater to the shorter attention spans, right? See, if you had not mentioned it, I wouldn't even think about it. But now that you have mentioned, I'll be specifically looking for what have you done to cater to someone with, abnormally low attention spans or something, right? So let's have a look. Okay, it's a splash screen which shows some information. First thing that I see, the font sizes are way too small, especially this body size. This is too small. If I guess it right, you would have probably used font size 9 or 10 or something, which is too small. And for a body text like this, I think minimum that you should use is 14. So this will have massive accessibility problems. And I see a same pattern everywhere. The font sizes, especially the body sizes, are way too small. Okay. Login with college email ID. Okay. College email ID when you enter, and then you say logins. Okay. And you say verification mail sent to this. Open mail app. Okay. All right. Sure. If I look at this screen, this illustration feels very much like the illustrations used by Notion team. Right? You know what Notion is. And if this is the style that you're using, why did you use a different style out here? Because this feels like two different worlds. Of course, these are too small for me to see anything. At first glance, since I'm not seeing all the details, it feels like they're a part of the two different family, right? But okay, let's get ahead. Here I have a feedback. So, here all the things are centered, and this is, again, something which is left aligned. So maybe some sort of a line separation would help if you just keep it at the bottom that way. And font sizes are small, like I said. And also regarding the buttons, when you're using a button in a mobile, you either use a full width button. Full width as in something with maybe 16 pixels of padding on each side. I don't mean end to end. Or you use a split button construct like what you have done in the third screen out there. This feels like somewhere in between. It's neither full, it's neither small, it's just a small button which is just comfortably floating. Why? You don't need to do that perhaps, right? So in this context, just use a full width button, as in, as wide as your text box which is out there. Okay. All right, let's build your profile. There's a very thick progress bar at the top. Okay. It's asked for my full name and college ID. Why? I mean, you've taken my email ID, right? You've taken my college email ID. Can you not pre-fill some of these things? Like if you are indeed connecting with my college database because, you want to make it official or something, you should be able to fetch some of these things. Why make it an extra step for the user to fill? Okay, I will just check out. Course name and year, same feedback. I mean, if you have my email ID, I think you should ideally be able to fetch some of these things, right? Okay. Now, if you say that, hey, this we can't because the college doesn't allow us to do and all, fine, right? Since you said that you have not considered technical feasibility, I was assuming you would fetch all these things, assuming there are no challenges. Okay. So the next step is an image, and then comes choose your interest. Oh my God, a lot of things are happening in this. Okay. Question: why do I need to see my name? I'm Harsha Gowda here, I'm assuming. My name, my student ID, my third year BTech computer science. Why do I need to see all of these things out here, right? In all the pages, I think you are addressing me by my name. Hey Harsha, let us know more about you. If you want to carry the context of the name, you could simply say, hey Harsha, choose your interest. Or since you've already said the hey Harsha part, maybe you could even skip. I don't understand what value is this adding. Had you been doing it for somebody else, okay, the context of computer science and all makes sense. For example, if Sapta was filling this for Harsha, and the fact that you are a BTech in computer science might give me some information, okay, maybe he would be interested in technology or cybersecurity and stuff, but it's you yourself who's filling, right? So maybe that reinforcement isn't necessary. You could have still put it, but here you are making it like a lot of things happening. So it's maybe slightly redundant. So think about it if you would want to skip it. And I also see that there are lots of interests which are showing out here, and these are interactable. That is, I can tap. I feel, if you try to tap one, you may accidentally end up tapping something else because they're too narrow. If you look at it, the height of the progress bar is almost as much as the height of these pills, which are interactable, and the progress bar is not even interactable, right? That is just a static thing out there. Like, why should the progress bar be so thick, and why should these be so thin? Because you should make it comfortable for the user to tap. All right, just a few seconds. I think this is probably the explanation of what you've written out there. I will just directly go to home and discover screens. Okay. This is home and discover scene. Welcome to assembly. Follow clubs or teams to get instant updates when there is an event or an announcement. Below are a few suggestions based on your interest. Okay, so interest, I believe, are these things which I just filled. Okay, and then when I do that, I follow a couple of them maybe, or I choose not to follow, and then I come here. This looks like Facebook. This is exactly like Facebook, right? That is still, what I said before, because I felt some of these things probably could be done using a Facebook group. Let's see what else you have done out here, right? There are two tabs which says following and discover. Following, of course, probably are the things that I have followed, and discover are things that I have not followed. I'm assuming that. Okay. And it also says clubs/teams. Are clubs and teams same, or are they different? Because it's not very clear out here. How is a club different from a team, right? Because I also see at the bottom that you have a bottom navigation called clubs, and you also have something called events. I thought this entire thing was about events because people were not able to find events. Then what is this home about? Shouldn't the home itself talk about all the events? Because the primary problem was discovery of events, which was not happening. Why would you have a home which doesn't have the details of the events, which is one of the most important problem that you're attempting to solve? Because I clearly see there is another events tab, which I believe will have all the events. And now that I, read through some of this post, it feels like these are just social media posts. Hey, Team Vikasana has done something, and this is an image from that. What function is that serving, right? What value is that adding? Now, you might be saying that, hey, there are also some set of people who are not motivated to join some of these events. So when they see some of these images, maybe they'll feel motivated and join, because motivation, I believe, is also one of your secondary use cases that you had picked up. But the question out here is, this is not a social media app. had this image been posted on the Instagram or Facebook where I am naturally likely to go, maybe I will stumble upon this image. And even though I was not interested, by seeing the image, I will get interested. But for me, someone who's not interested in this event as well, to stumble upon this image over this platform is very less likely, because if I'm not interested, I would not have this app at the first place. So is it really solving the problem that you're attempting to? Think about it, because it felt like it's a very event heavy, but now I see there's a proper social media about it as well, right? So yeah, keep your problem in focus. Okay, so there is a Discover tab as well, which has some of the clubs and some of their activities with a button to follow right here. So here's the navigation bar. I like this way of annotating where you're clearly showing what each of these are supposed to function. So that's a good way of showing the UX of the UX case study that I keep saying, right? Shows following and Discover feeds. Right? Discover what? Not really events, general social media stuff. Events, browse and register for upcoming events. Tickets, I understand what tickets are. Browse and join clubs to recruit new members and profile. Okay. Again, clubs also I have got some amount of doubt, because you said that in the home screen, this could be a club or even a team. So what I'm not sure is, are teams and clubs same or are they different? And I also know that things could be different in different colleges. Since you're making a generic app which can be bought by any college, college A, college B, college C, some of these structures could largely depend on how things function in their campus. In some colleges, maybe an event is always organized by a club, right? So it's always a club that organizes an event. It's a club first approach. Whereas in some other places, it could be that there are many events. Some of those events could be organized by clubs or not organized by clubs, but clubs are more of activity and internal group based, right? So this structuring maybe will change based on which college you're selling this for, right? So that flexibility needs to be there. Let's move on. Events page. The events page was the most challenging to design, of course. That's what your app is about. It needed to anchor seamless user flow. Okay, before we start, let's understand what the flaws were, which needs to be reduced in the app. The flaws were in what? In your existing flow, which includes social media, word of mouth, everything. Okay, I guess so. But I thought you already called out the flaws before itself, because your entire app is supposed to be about events. So you don't have to repeat those things in the events page. Like I said, your home page feels like something which was not even a problem statement. You did it regardless, right? So all the problems that you're talking about out here are probably already listed as a part of the main problem of why you started designing this itself, right? Okay, let me scan through it. Just because you've written, information is scattered and disorganized. Okay, lack of clear communication channels, too many apps needed to register, no confirmation given to students. Really? Okay. Delays and gaps in information strategy. Hard to stay organized. Okay. Lack of information is scattered and disorganized. Hard to stay organized. Aren't they like same? Okay. Friction and needing multiple apps. Isn't this same as too many apps needed to register? Right? See, it's not that registration for a new app alone is the problem. That is one of the problems, but it's also about friction of needing multiple apps. So I feel the last point and this point are probably same. So you might want to, just club it and make it simpler, right? It doesn't mean that, you have 8 problems, so it is that big a problem. When you read through it, you understand maybe, you've split up one thing into 2 and so. So have a look at that. Use ChatGPT for this one to consolidate this part. Okay, original user journey, I believe is the same one that I had seen before. And this is the design user journey. Okay, let's just go through it directly in the designs itself, right? Upcoming events, recruitments, attending section. Okay, let's have a look. All right, so this is the events page or the events tab. It has 4 tabs at the top, which says upcoming, recruitments, attending, past events. While I understand what upcoming, attending, and past events are, I don't fully understand what recruitment means, right? I know that the events would need coordinators, volunteers, and other people to organize it. Do you mean that? Right? So again, now you're going to the other side of things, because you said that you're only doing it for the consumer side of things, the end student side of it. Is mixing these two a right thing to do and putting it in the same hierarchy as events? That's a debatable thing. And also, not every event might recruit when they're actually registering, because for the event to be in a stage that people can go and register, they probably would have already had teams and all in place. So at this stage, they may not want to recruit. So just think about it. if that's what recruitment is, if I assumed it right. Okay. All right. Let's look into each of these cards itself. This is one section. This is too heavy, my friend. The layout is way too cognitively heavy. Now, what is cognition? Cognition is nothing but the mental effort that the user needs to take to process anything is in front of them. Now, what is processing? Whenever anything is shown to the users are expected to do 4 things: to see them, to understand them, to analyze them, and to act on them. So whenever your students are seeing into it, or your audience is seeing into it, they'll first have to see this and understand what it is, CS404, whatever. Then they'll have to analyze in their head, do I need this? Do I need this? Okay, you read through some of the information. Does it add value to my life and stuff? And then act. The act could be register or whatever it is, right? So these 4 things is what goes into the minds of the user whenever they see something, right? Now your work is to make the effort, the mental effort of the user as less as possible in each of these 4 steps, right? And cognition, when amount of cognition is higher, that is too many things for me to process. Okay, this suggested technology, 12 days, 220 attending, this. It just adds a lot of effort, mental effort, right? So our work as designer is to reduce them. And I feel this card is cognitively heavy. There are problems in the layout and the UI of the card. But before that, it is not just about, hey, I have these many things to show. How do I show it? The first question that you should ask is, why should I show all this information? Is it even needed, right? For example, there's one thing that I see out here. It says, I guess this is location. It says L block 2nd floor. So when you say it's an L block 2nd floor, it's an address. It's a physical address. So obviously it's an offline event. So why do I need another one which is offline? Right? Don't you think these 2 things can be merged? Because this could be one single thing which talks about either it's a physical location, then you show the address, or it's an online event where you maybe put the link or just call it out online. Because having these as 2 different entry points or 2 different line items are not needed, in my opinion, right? So you see, by analyzing things that way, by asking questions like how important is this piece of information out here, you can already reduce a lot of cognition, right? And look at this. There are 4 pills out there, which are tags essentially. One is suggested, one is technology, 12 days left, 210 attending, too many things. I'm sure there's a better way of doing it. Right? Tags, when it's just 1 or maximum 2, maybe it's okay. It helps the users to understand that, hey, this is the reason why maybe I should look into it. When you're browsing Amazon and you see there's something called Amazon recommended or something. I forgot the exact word, right? Amazon's choice. So when you see that badge, it helps you. It tells you that, okay, this is Amazon's choice, has to be good. So it helps you take a call. But imagine, along with Amazon's choice, had there been, 4 or 5 other tabs, it wouldn't help you either. We're like, okay, this also, that also, this also, that also. Like, what am I supposed to understand out of it? It's too much effort for me to take a decision. I think right now, that's what is happening. So you'll have to decide, what do you want to show as a tag like this, and what is an information which can be shown some other place, or you could just question, why are some of this information even needed, right? For example, 12 days left. Maybe this makes sense when it is towards the end of registration, maybe 3 days left or 4 days left. You don't need to tell me 12 days left before, right? Or maybe 30 days left before. May not be needed or doesn't deserve a tag maybe, right? So analyze it that way, because this card definitely need works. And another, if this person is ever called for an interview, I would definitely want to get on a discussion trying to understand, why does the person feel that share and register are almost at the same level, right? Same level as in level of importance, right? I understand that register is a primary button, so it's a fill button, and share is a secondary button, that's why it's an outline button. But what makes you feel that they are almost as equally important, right? Do you really expect that many users to share as they would register? Think about it. What do you want your users to do? Share probably could be, maybe 1 step inside, or maybe a small icon which is somewhere at the top right corner of this card or something. Like, do you really need 2 buttons for each and every listing right on the front? Think about it. This is a discussion I would surely have if I call this person for an interview. Okay. Let's understand this. I think these are nothing but the description of it. Let's get there. Events page. Again, feels very similar to Facebook events, something which used to be there a few years back. I don't know if it is still there. I don't use Facebook all that much. So the top part is same as the card. Now that's a good thing because you have not like reinvented the wheel. You have figured something out. Of course, that figuring out needs work, like I said, but then you're reusing the same thing as the header of the page, or a similar thing. Doesn't have to be the exact same thing, is a good move, right? And in addition to that, you're showing some more information. Whereas I could arguably say, like, does this call to action, which is register, should be at the top? And what will happen when I scroll? Because if it's an important thing, the register button could be a sticky button at the bottom, because what happens is people read through the details, people read through the queries, participants. At any point of time, they may be convinced that, hey, this is the one I need to attend, or I need to see the details. In that case, the button should be right there so that they can tap and immediately register. Right now, I think that is not happening, right? But overall, I feel it's very similar to things that already exist, right? Font sizes are small, something that I called out already. These things, when you preview it in a mobile device, you will see that they are very, very small, right? Like I said, for a body text like this, the minimum size that you should go is 14, or maybe in some extreme cases 13, but nothing less than that. These definitely look way too small. Okay. Registration page. Let me get there directly. Okay. Registration page. There's a form. Why do you need a form here? Why do you need a form? Let's see what's there in the form. It says name, email ID, mobile number, department, is your team solo, duet, group. Man, why? See, I understand that, you're trying to connect with what used to happen before this app existed. You had a Google form, you had a type form, right? Where people would probably enter some of these details. But think about it, why? Because all these things were disconnected, right? When you're setting a Google form link, nobody knows who this person is, so you'll have to fill it from the scratch. But here, this is an app. It's a part of your consolidation. Why do you want me to fill up my name, email ID, department, and mobile number once again? I see that you have an autofill thing there, but why should it even be an autofill, right? What is the use case where someone would not want to autofill it? Can you not have a very simple, which just talks about the information that is needed? Because it's a dance group, so maybe important information are, is your team a solo, duet, or a group? Of course, that's a very even specific question. Ask that. What's your dance style? Yeah, that's an important question. But why the basic details that can be easily fetched? And you don't even have to show it here. It's clearly you're doing it. If I were to draw a comparison, imagine every time you're trying to pay using Google Pay asks, hey, what's your name? What's your bank account number? What's your UPI ID? They don't do it, right? They save it once and then they keep using it. That's the whole point of using an app, right? I think this page is not done. This page needs more thinking. It just feels like it's a blind copy paste of what is there on Google form and you just got done with it. So this needs more thinking, my friend, right? Why even need a form when a refresh form, right? Why would you need such a big button to clear a form? First of all, the form itself is not needed. And why is the mobile number alone masked? I see some excess in between. Like, why? Your email ID is right there. It's your app, you're using it. Why should only this thing be masked? First of all, why should this thing be even there? But okay, that I've already called. Did you know some facts while it is being loaded? While the registration is happening? Okay, that's fine. That's a good touch out here. And this is the registration is done. There's a QR code. Okay, good to see the QR code at the top because, that's one of the most important things that will get scanned when you attend the event, I believe. Okay. Well, this toast feels almost like a button. Wow, this feels more button than this button itself. It's so maybe, just make it look like a toast. And toast is something which comes at the bottom of the page. In this could be at the top or bottom, but it just feels like this is a button. Right? All right, let's see. So when you say join group, I can join a WhatsApp group or whatever it is, or maybe, not WhatsApp group. You have a chat inside the app, I see. So you have a confirmation which says, do you want to join this group? Cancel join group. Again, in this regard, so look at the question. Do you want to join this group? ? What are the answers of this question? Maybe yes or no. Cancel. How does it feel like? Do you want to join the group? Cancel. How is that an answer to this question? You get it, right? So a better answer would be, of course, yes or no, but don't directly write yes or no because even that could be like, okay, yes, no. The easier way would be, do you want to join this group? Maybe yes, join this group. And the other could be, no, I'll do it later. You get it, right? And it also doesn't have to be split buttons like this. Maybe the main button is yes, join the group. And maybe the secondary button or text button could say, no, I'll do it later. Something like that. It clearly shows that, hey, you want people to join the group. So that's the primary call to action. And if they don't want, they can do it later if they want to. right? All right, so there are two tabs in the chat. One is updates and one is chat itself. I believe the difference between these two is updates is where only the host can message and chat is where everyone can message. Okay, fair, but I'm also thinking, depending on how big this chat is, if you feel that the chat is hundreds of people and there'll be lots of discussion happening, maybe that's where you need something like an update. Will that happen here? Think about it, right? Because in the chat, also the host is a part of it. So why can't the host put a message on this chat itself instead of having a separate channel called update? And if you want, you can always have, some sort of a button or a toggle out here which just says, okay, show only the updates or show messages from host so that, you can directly filter. Okay, it's kind of serving the same. Okay, fine, that's okay. But just think about that as well. Clubs and teams. The next section, the user research revealed that students struggle to discover all the clubs and teams in the universe. Still, what is a club? What's a team? It's not clearly differentiated, right? All right, let's again, there's so much text, but I don't really see any design beside it. So UX of the UX case study, as I keep saying. So whenever someone is reading, it is very important that whatever they're reading, when you have some screenshot or something right beside it, it's much easier to comprehend. Like for me as a reader, it'll be much easier for me to understand what is happening, right? In fact, if you're writing it on Medium has this left-right view as well, where you can have an image on the left and the text on the right. So why not use that? Or even top to bottom is fine if you have, right, one small paragraph, then a screenshot, then another paragraph, then another screenshot. It just helps, right? Let me go into the screens directly. Club screens. Okay, same feedback again. Too many tags, right? See, there's a recruiting, there's a suggested, there's a music, there's a dance, right? Perform activities around, right? Performs activities around suggested. I can understand performs activities around music and dance. Like, what is suggested? Why should it be performs activities around suggested? I have no idea what this means, right? And think about the general UI of this. There is one rectangle, colored rectangle, second colored rectangle, third, fourth colored rectangle, fifth colored rectangle, which is a button. And of course, this image is also kind of a rectangle. So this is a mess, my friends. So this can be made better, right? First of all, suggested. I know that you're saying that this is the suggested club for you because based on whatever information that you're given me, that shouldn't sit at the same level as what kind of activities this club gets into. The IA is wrong out here. And this is not the kind of mistake that you should be making at this stage of your design. This is very basic, okay? And this feels very Instagramish, which is okay. But if you're doing it from Instagram or Facebook, copy it right if you want to. Let's not make some of these, obvious mistakes. If you want to get inspired by Instagram, it's okay. But then just see what exactly are you doing out here, right? This screen needs a lot of work. The screen needs a lot of work, okay? All right, so there's a filter based on which I can. Other than that tappability thing, I don't have any new feedback for this. And also the font sizes aren't right. The font sizes are too small. I think I've said it enough. And also this is very much reminiscent of any Instagram or Facebook page. Sure. Tickets page. Let's go to the tickets page and see. This page was not originally part of the design. During usability testing and critique session, I discovered that students found it confusing to access the QR code. Okay, one single place to have all the QR codes makes sense. So these are the tickets, essentially the events that I have registered for, and I got a confirmation. And clicking on this, it shows my QR code. I think that is fine. Right? Then it's key learnings from the project. Okay, I will skip the learnings because that is Harsha's own reflection. So I have gone through the work. So that's Harsha Gowda on a quest for a UX or product design internships. Okay, so he's looking for an internship out there. Now I've scanned through the entire case study and now it's the time for the most exciting or the interesting part of this video, which is, will I call this person for an interview? I will give my answer for both product design 1 and internship. So here's my verdict. For product design 1, nope. I will not call this person for an interview for a product design 1 because there are clearly many gaps in the way certain things were thought out, right from why is this product needed, or is it just a glorified WhatsApp group or a Facebook group it feels like that. And secondly, there were also like IA problems around the things which he has put out, so which I feel shouldn't be made at a stage like this. And if you remember, when I was looking at it, it is called that people who have shorter spans. I don't see anything different which is happening or anything special which is done for people with shorter attention spans. In fact, I see the reverse. When you say shorter attention spans, you should keep things as quick as possible. Why ask redundant questions like your name, your course name and all, which could be maybe fetched from your college ID, right? And regarding layout and UI, yes, there's a lot of work to be done out here. And honestly, these pages to me felt like it's just a Facebook group. And if I look at the problem, if I look at the core problem, what was being called out, I think a large part of it, 80% of the problem probably could be fixed if a certain amount of discipline is brought to the college, which is, let us do everything via this WhatsApp group, or let us do everything via this Facebook group or Instagram channel or whatever, right? Do you really need a new app for this? Because app comes with its own challenges, not just the effort of building, but also adoption. If people don't adopt, people don't use it, then this app is just one of the many ways of discovering an event which you had posted, right? So you don't want another student coming up and, drawing a similar thing where you have email, WhatsApp, social media, and then another one out here, which is your app, right? Then the problem isn't solved. So I feel from the need of this product, I have some reservations around it. And regarding the design work, I felt there were some gaps. That's why it's a no interview for a product design one. For internship, however, I'm still in a fix out here. Like, should this person be called for an internship? Because coming from my experience, again, I'm not speaking on behalf of my employer, I have seen better work from internship aspirants as well. So that makes me feel maybe I shouldn't call this person for an internship interview as well. But it all depends on what kind of applicants I get. For example, if a company opens up an internship opening today, and when all the applicants come, it all depends on where does this stand compared to other applicants. If you have someone who has done much better job, if I have just 3 openings for internship and I have 3 case studies which are better than this one, definitely this doesn't get qualified, right? So yeah, that's my call out here. So Harsha has overall done a great job. In fact, I was quite impressed the way he started the case study, the way he was showing some of the processes, but I feel some of the things didn't quite hold up. And by the way, this is a very repeated thing I see with people who are trying to get into this field. So make sure that you do not forget the problem that you had initially started with. Right? So yes, that's my review for today, and nothing much to worry. Harsha can just apply some of the things that I have said out here, tweak some of the designs and some of the places where I felt there was a lot of cognition, or the font sizes are small, or the flow isn't right, or the information architecture isn't right. He could go and improve them, and then he will stand a much better chance at getting called for an interview. So that's all for today. If you like this video, like and share it with everyone, and please subscribe to my channel. That's all for today. This is Sapta signing off.